I knew the minute I got in Everton's first team, I knew I was the best player in the team. And that's not being cocky or... plus we had a very bad team at the time. No, but I knew I was the best player, and I knew before long I would have to move on if I wanted to.
But that's a responsibility
to win trophies.
As well, isn't it? To know that you're the best player at that age.
That's amazing.
But there was also something else that I'd heard, that when you were playing in the under-14s or you were 14, Paul Gascoigne was at Everton and saw you and give you a few quid because he was so impressed with watching you.
Yeah, no, he actually come in the dressing room in Gazza. Again, I looked up to Gazza. I love Gazza, and he signed for Everton. That's why I was number 18. He left, and I wanted his number, so for Everton. But he come in, and all the youth team we were all in the dressing room. So he said, "Is anyone going out tonight? I'll give you a bit of money." So everyone was like quiet, and me being like a little cocky scouser, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going out." So he come up to me and gave me 40 quid, and it was only about 3 years ago I seen him, and he come up to ask for his £40 back. So.
What point was it where you did ask for the transfer? What year was that?
I was 2010.
Is that when City were just starting to come, was it?
No, we weren't City. It was more, obviously, I wanted the answers I wanted. There was a few teams. There was Real Madrid, Barcelona were asking, City were asking, Chelsea were asking. So there was a few teams, yeah.
Did you ever have that problem?
No, but I genuinely wanted to stay at United, but I think there was a clash of me and the manager as well, and I knew once you try and disagree with him, he doesn't take it lightly, and my relationship with the manager after that moment was never the same.
Actually, to be fair, we were talking about it this morning. So obviously I remember being in the dressing room when, just before the Champions League game, when the statement came out. I thought, that was it. Yeah. There's no comeback from that. I'd seen it many times before, previously, over the past 10, 15 years. But how did that turn around from you making that statement? Do you remember me and Giggsy speaking to you the morning after in the gym and saying, look, you have to say sorry to the lads, but I think you did. But then, how did it turn around? We never thought it would turn around with the manager. How does that turn around? How's it that you sign a new contract a couple of weeks later? I don't get that.
More money. I'm really joking. No,
I don't get that. To this day.
When I put the transfer request in, this was more from me and the manager, and I was still speaking to David Gill on where the club were going, how they were going to move forward. And again, obviously, as being a manager now myself, and looking back, it was the wrong thing to do, probably, but at the time, I felt it was the right thing to do, to really get assurances for my own career. And then once David Gill had explained what the club were doing, I said, fine, that's all the manager had to say. That's all the club had to tell me. And then I signed the new deal. And in terms of relationship with the manager, of course, it was never the same. After I think the big thing what probably hurt him is they had just sold Tevez, they had just sold Ronaldo, and they probably couldn't afford to let me go. Yeah, I think first was the longest day ever. I think we kicked off at about 11 p.m. So we had a lot of time in the hotel to kill and relax, and then we got to the stadium.
What did you do to relax?
I watched Sister Act.
Sister Act?
I watched that in the afternoon. I don't really sleep in the afternoon before the night game. So I watched Sister Act, got ready, got myself ready for the game. We went to the stadium, got changed, got ready, warm up, and then the game kicked off. The weather was horrendous. The kit was really heavy. Went 1-0 up. They obviously scored, equalised. Then I went off in extra time, and that was just as long, watching that last 15 minutes of extra time and penalties than the rest of the day, really. Watching the penalties, knowing you can have no influence, it was horrible. And then John Terry stepped up, and I've seen JT take penalties for England and in training. He's a really good penalty taker. I don't think I've ever seen him miss. And then thankfully he slipped. He hit the post and we go on to win it. So that was an unbelievable moment.
That moment where John Terry slips over, can you remember where you were standing and what it felt like in that exact second? Yeah,
brilliant. But then your emotions are up and down. You almost celebrate. I didn't care he was my England teammate. at all. I was buzzing he missed, and you celebrate, then you realise you've got to score the next penalty. So your emotions are up and down, but then when Edwin saved the penalty off Anelka, for the next few minutes, you're just running around and celebrating. And I remember actually, I was still on the pitch, I was looking for Colleen in the crowd and parents, and I remember stood there and I heard a Scouse accent next to me, and he said, "All right, lad, Colleen's up there, she's over there." I was thinking, who's this? So I turned around, it's a lad I know from Liverpool he's got a photographer's outfit on, so he's got on the pitch. And then later on that night, we've gone into the party in Russia. The security was maximum security, and he's in there as a waiter. So I think he had a good night as well. Yeah.
I won't forgive you for taking the remote control.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He's watching, what is it, rugby league?
Rugby.
He's watching the house.
Go on, you tell her. Tell the truth, will you? Make a change.
So he's watching rugby league. So I'm sat there. It was Newcastle away. You had to go out the room to get your food. I think it was my second or third game. So he's gone out. So I've changed it over to X Factor. So I've hit the remote. So he's come back in. He's with the remote, whatever. So just sat there like. And then next thing he's gone up, pulled the plug out. But then, I don't even know whether he knows. About midnight, the club security knocked at my door and asked for the remote.
Has nothing to do with me.
I have no idea where it is.
I knew he changed.
Next day he was fuming.
No, again, I like my rugby league. It was a good game, man. I came back and I knew the lads were up to no good. The usual stuff, very immature, these lads. X Factor was on. So anyway, I wouldn't say I stormed off to bed, but I went to bed as I had to. And Wayne, I knew he'd done it. And again, he was new to the club. I thought, I'll give him a chance, you know. I don't want to be too hard on him. And the next morning, we're down for breakfast, and he comes up to me. He says, "Did you find them controls?" And I was going to be polite to him, but when he said it, I went, "Go f*** yourself."
On one occasion, you were a mascot at Goodison Park, aged 10. You chipped Neville Southall from outside the area. You've been practicing it all week, and Southall called you a flash bastard.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah, well, I was waiting for the game for, felt like forever. It was at Anfield, and I think it was the only game in recent years which got called off because of the rain. So I was waiting, honestly, for months. So it got rescheduled. So then, when it got rescheduled, I went as mascot, and there was Dave Watson was Everton captain, John Barnes was Liverpool captain. So when you go out, it was when the goalkeepers used to take the mascot out, and you'd have a little kick about, mess around with them. So twice it happened. So Southall rolled it out. So I think, so I could see him looking at me. He'd say, "What are you doing?" Yeah. So then he's rolled out again. I've had another couple of little shots into his arm. He's rolled out, I think, him again. He's got me a little bastard.
What age were you in?
10. 10 So,
Liverpool, that's pleasantries, though.
With Southall, I was ball boy for years at Everton, at Goodison. So I'll be in ball boy when all yous were playing. Remember, we played Newcastle at Goodison, and it was 1-0 to Newcastle, and we scored in like the 88th minute or something. So the ball's come out of play, so as it's there, I'm thinking, good point here. I've started walking dead slow to get the ball. It's hard to waste time. Southall has just absolutely battered me. And I've like shit myself around, jumped the ball. But yeah, Moyes was really good for me, and he actually sued me actually. When I left the club, because I left.
That's good for you.
No, but I hammered him when I left. Moyes for. At the time, how I felt.
What did you say at the time? Do you feel disappointed? Do you feel regretful that you said those things about him?
Yeah, I spoke to him a few years after I left. I called him up and apologised, because the older you get, and you realise why he was doing things. And
what did you say at the time?
I felt like he was singling me out, which.
Whilst you were at the club, or when you left?
Well, I was at the club, and he was treating me a little bit different to the other players.
In what way?
Just in different ways. I don't want to go into it now, but just in different ways. He was treating me. One of them was, he had me running around the local park by myself with the physio in.
Right.
And I think he felt because it was new to him as well, having a player who was getting all these headlines, and so for him to figure out, he was a young manager at the time as well.
Yeah.
So I know it was new to him as well. So, but when I look back, I think he was really good for me, and because he was always on me, constantly on me,
Was he?
even as a young lad.
What about your work ethic or your game?
Just
or
everything, yeah, and I think he was just more to try not to, which I never would have anyway, try not to let me think I was better than what I was, and stuff like that. So, and I was hard work.
in your early days?
Yeah, like he'd come in and in the indoor gym, I was setting me and Tom Scravison, setting big rockets off one end of the gym to the other, had each other, and Moyes walked in.
You mean fireworks?
Yeah. Moyes walked in, and you could see him like, what is going on? I was 16. Whatever, so...
Well, like, just... Yeah.
You'd like them and you'd hold them, and then going all over the gyms, obviously a little bit bigger than this pitch probably, and it's going all over the place.
He had a right, to be fair, to give you a clip.
Yeah, no,
he?
he did. So. I remember the first time I met Patrice. We were in Barcelona, wasn't we?
Yeah.
I was filming for FIFA.
Yeah.
FIFA game. There was me and Ronaldinho filming this TV advert.
For charity or was it?
So we're doing the filming anyway, and then they had 2 teams lined up.
There we go.
Which I thought was extras. So Pat stood at the front of the slide. So I've gone up thinking he's an extra, like.
It gets
He's
worse.
played the Champions League final for Monaco.
It gets worse. Where did he put that picture?
No, so
he had that picture
I got
at
the
home.
picture, and then I've got like a downstairs toilet, just a toilet. So
see
I
the
put the
respect?
picture in there of me and Pat.
And he told me that. Yeah, I've got that picture. I say, where? He said, in the toilet. I think I will be happy to hear that. So it was a really, really bad start. Me and Vida, actually, I remember we also play in the reserve team, and Rooney subbed us because we were like that bad.
Rooney?
Yeah, Rooney. And we were in the shower, me and Vida talking. Vida was like, I may like go back to Belgrade, and me, I say, my agent told me I got AS Roma, so I may go to Italy. So yeah.
You weren't as bad as Vida, though.
How did you get up with Vida? How did you get up with Vida?
The 2 of them, honestly, the 2 of them were terrible.
They're a tough start.
Like,
Was it
like
bad tempo? Were you not talking about-
yeah, I openly said,
Yeah.
these are not good enough. Like,
But right here, you
get
laugh.
rid of them. They were terrible,
You
and then
laugh.
obviously
But that's what I'm happy. That's why we were like not just a team, we were a family and telling the truth.
Yes.
You know, because they never, no one of them come say, no, don't worry, you're doing well. They were looking at me and you let us down.